Hi, caregivers. Today's topic is about when it's time to move into your own sleeping quarters if you're a spousal caregiver for someone with dementia. This is a very emotionally um, difficult topic, but it is one that comes up with most people who are trying to take care of the loved one at home. Uh, Especially with dementias like Lewy body dementia that may have the REM sleep behavior disorder or the getting up a lot at night issues. Um, this is really a crucial thing, and you have to make a decision at some point to do this. So let's kind of go back to square one and say a couple of things that are givens. You are just as important, and your health is just as important as your loved one is and your loved one's health is. As a matter of fact, if you don't take care of yourself, it's very ultimately unkind to the person that you're taking care of because they depend on you. And if you fall, if you crash, they're going to fall or crash with you. And so taking care of yourself is really, really important. And I hope you'll remember that it's not selfish, it's not self-centered to take breaks, it's not self-centered to have to make decisions to protect your own health, because it's loving and kind to continue to be there as much as you can be, and in as healthy and positive a way as you can be for your loved one. So it's very important to remember that taking care of you, taking care of your health, is just as important as taking care of your loved one. So that being said, what are you going to do when you realize that your health is perhaps getting in jeopardy? You're starting to get signs of the lack of sleep, the stress, things may be showing up on your own health story that are having to be addressed. So the question often comes, should I get my own sleeping area? Should I move out of the bedroom? Here's what we did at my house. And that being said, what I'm going to say to you, let's understand that every story is different. Every situation is different. But this is what happened at our house. My husband had Lewy body dementia, and that came with REM sleep behavior disorder, which is acting out your dreams. And so we had already had to move from a king-size bed to a king-size base with separate twin mattresses on top. And then they had to be separated a little bit. And then we had to go to two separate twin bases, but they were still together. And then we had to move those apart just a little bit of space. And then it had to go to about this much space where you could walk in between carefully to change the beds, so that John's movement, his acting out of dreams, his slashing around in bed, flailing around in bed, did not hit me and did not hurt me. And so we just did that over time. It took place over months, years, where there was gradually a little bit more distance over time between us, and that held forth for, I'd say, easily after the diagnosis. Oh goodness, a good 2, 3, 4, 5 years just separating. What was the game changer at our house, and is the game changer in many houses, is when John kept waking up a lot at night, having to go to the bathroom, needing to move around, and of course that would wake me up. I made the mistake that many caregivers do of waiting too long, letting my sleep get disrupted too often, letting myself get too tired, and John ended up having to go into a skilled care room because that was the only one available at the place of our choice, and he was there for 3 months. I did bring him back home for the rest of his life, and he spent the last 2 years of his life at home after spending those 3 months in a nursing facility, a skilled care room. And so I don't think that part of our journey would have happened if I had moved out of the room sooner, if I had gotten someone to stay with John at night sooner. And so the first people that you may want to consider staying in your home, if that is your desire and your goal, and you can afford to do this, have someone come and stay overnight and be there to take care of those many times when they sometimes have to get up, or if they're getting up and wandering around the house, to make sure they stay in the house. And you are tucked away in a place that is far away from that bedroom as you can get, soundproofed as much as possible. You might want to have one of those little sound boxes or something that will create a pleasant nature sound, a babbling brook or a rain or something that can silence some of the sounds that may be happening in the house so that you can rest. Making a retreat for yourself may be a lifesaver for you in the long run, because once again, this is not a sprint, this is a marathon. So being aware of when you do need to make that happen is important. And I want to remind you to do it sooner rather than later. When you start to feel tired, when you're starting to feel just way too stressed and not getting enough rest, that may be the time when you do need to move to another place in the house to sleep. The other thing that I did was I would nap during the day when John would nap. We were both retirement age, and so we were able to do that. I didn't have to get up and go to work, and I know some of you may have that. And if you do have that, then getting someone to come and stay, whether it's a family member or a paid caregiver, at least part of the time, so that you do not get too overly tired, because not getting the right rest puts you at risk for all kinds of health issues. And clearly, your brain is not being taken care of properly if you're not getting good sleep yourself. So, sooner rather than later, as soon as you start to feel stressed and overly tired, as soon as you're starting to talk to people and ask people, when do you think it's time? When you're asking, then yeah, it's probably time. It's probably time to start fixing up a little nest for yourself somewhere else in the house, if you don't already have that. I hope this helps you, and thank you for what you do every day. Thank you for being on this caregiver journey and being so faithful in it. Take care.